I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Saving the Best for Last. And that is because this is a special show that I do at the start of every year. And with the last week's show, did the monthly predictions for the sun, for the new moons, and for the eclipses for all of 2019. And tonight's show is called Saving the Best for Last, because we're going to do the predictions for all 12 sun signs for 2019. And so this is a period of time when you can have very high ideals and great dreams and want to build something this year. And the planets are certainly there to help you out. However, in your enthusiasm, you're going to have to be careful to move very carefully, and I think rather slowly, because all of us are going to have to endure some frustrating setbacks and delays that could be beyond our control. So we would have to adjust to that. So what does saving the best for last really mean? Well, the best that I'm talking about for you is whatever you come up with by the end of the year. In other words, if you're wanting to build something, the planets are with you, because we have a rare trine among 3 slow-moving planets in the Earth signs. Uranus and Taurus by March will be trining Saturn and Pluto, which will be conjuncting in Capricorn, and those 3 planets will be trining the sign of Virgo as well. Earth signs are hard workers, and so that simply means this is the year to roll up your sleeve and really work hard. And so if you do that and you endure these setbacks and delays, but you keep going anyway, then you could be saving the best for last, and that last could be the end of the year when we have a fabulous solar eclipse in Capricorn. So it may take you all year to get organized as you really go after something that may require hard work and sacrifice, but it is something that could be of credit to you, perhaps for the rest of your life. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, of the 5 eclipses this year, 4 of them are going to challenge your sun sign. And that simply means that you, Aries, are going to have to put up with setbacks and delays that could be caused by decisions that other people make that are out of your control. And these could be decisions by experienced leaders in business or in government agencies. And they could be deciding things rather slowly. It might take them all year, but whenever they come up with their decisions, it would tend to challenge you. And so you're going to have to be aware of that the whole time. This is a year when something or someone is going to change course and move on. They could do that by the end of this year, or they could go by the middle of 2020. When they do that, the loss will be your own. But during the whole year this year, you still will be very blessed by the fact that Jupiter is in Sagittarius, trining your sun clear up until December 3rd. So you will have abundant opportunities to travel and to learn new things as well. So you can look forward to that. All right, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, 2019 is going to be a year of golden opportunities for you, because by March, Uranus will be in your sign, where it will stay for 7 years. It was in there briefly and then retrograded into Aries. Now, by March, it will be back, and it will be trining Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, which will be closely conjuncting each other, making them both very powerful. And so that is why there can be golden opportunities for you this year, Taurus, as long as you're willing to work very hard without complaint. And that means, you know, people could see that you're a good hard worker. They could give you a little extra to do, but you mustn't complain no matter what. Because by fall, I think that you're going to see a real career boost, particularly if you're not complaining. And your long-term security can increase as well, because as each hard task is completed by you, there may be extra money for you to put into some sort of retirement account. And that's why I'm saying that there can be a variety of golden opportunities for you this year. You just have to be willing to roll up your sleeves, work hard, and not complain about anything, because that way you're really going to be successful. So I wish you the best of luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, in the spring, very early on, you know, maybe just next month or so, or in a few weeks, you're going to be able to make a soft sell. And that means that you're going to be able to either make some sort of compromise or settlement, or, you know, people are going to get together and they're going to sort of listen to you, Gemini, which is great. So that soft sell is going to work out. And it might be close to the new moon in Aquarius in February. However, since Jupiter in Sagittarius is opposing your sun sign for most of the year, it simply means that matters at a distance may work out this year more in someone else's favor than in your own. And so you'll have to be aware of that. And yet, if you decide that you want to build something this year, since it is a building year, you may want to do that very quietly, in fact, almost silently. And the reason why is that if you don't tell anybody what you're doing, because it's a very fond dream or hope or goal of yours, then you're sort of free to go forward. And when you meet setbacks and delays, you can handle them yourself. And actually what's going to be happening is that the quieter you are, the more successful you'll be, because you won't meet any opposition. No one will know what you're doing. And that is the way to succeed this year, Gemini, because by the end of the year, you could be amazed at the success that you are looking at. And particularly by the middle of 2020, when Saturn has moved on into Aquarius and is trining your sun, you could be really very pleasantly surprised by the amount of very strong support you have, more than you were looking for. So just keep going, but keep it quiet. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this year, I think you're going to feel like you are swimming upstream against the tide. And that is because there are 3 very powerful eclipses in Capricorn, and they oppose your sun sign. And so that can represent a time, actually throughout the year, when you are going to have to actually prepare for setbacks and delays, because they are going to happen. And that can be due to, you know, just when you think you've got everything going your way, somebody can come up with a new rule or a new regulation or a new policy that you have to adapt to, so you might have to backtrack a little bit as well. However, on July 2nd, there is a fabulous solar eclipse in your sign, Cancer. And that is decidedly in your favor, Cancer. It's going to be very good for you. And I think that right about in the middle of summer, things do begin to smooth out a little bit for you, which would be good. But still, you're going to be facing frustrations about delays and setbacks. And you know, if you could just allow a little bit of downtime for those things, I think that they wouldn't bother you so much. And that way you could still build something for success, and that saving the best for last could certainly occur for you right around Christmas time, when you are going to be way too busy. But you might be way too busy because you are successful. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, 2019 is going to be a much better year for you. And one good reason for that is because Jupiter is in Sagittarius, another fire sign, and it's the ruler of the sign. It's very strong there. And it will be trining your sun until December 2nd. So that's practically the whole year. And that simply means that you're going to have opportunities for all kinds of good things coming your way. And it can be that you travel more or that you learn more. And believe me, Leo, you're going to worry a lot less, which is wonderful. And in fact, your birthday, right around your birthday, it sort of rewards you with a heartfelt truth that you are finally willing to admit, which is good. And that will really help you face something and admit it, and that would be absolutely wonderful for you. Remember, because Jupiter is still trining your sun. And then I think that as the year progresses, you are going to want to move very quickly, but I urge you not to. Don't be hasty with anything this year, Leo, because particularly in the spring, if you move too fast, which fire signs like to do, it could backfire on you. And that's why you need to be a little bit more careful and cautious this year. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, you are going to have a good year, Virgo, but it may not always be for good reasons. Let me explain that. Despite the adroit liars that you have had around you in 2018, you, by the fall of 2019, you're going to be saying, thanks, I needed that. Meaning that you're going to be thrown for a loop. And it could really have the opposite effect of what people were thinking. In other words, there is a fabulous new moon in your sign on August 30th with 5 planets in your sign, trining 3 others in the earth signs. It's one of the best new moons in your life, Virgo. And that can be around the time when you're saying, thanks, I needed that. Because surprisingly, whatever throws you for a loop is going to boost you into high gear and result in a resounding success in 2020. But I don't know if the reason for that is good or bad, but I do know what the outcome will be, and it's going to do you a world of good. So good luck on that. So you will be successful this year, but you're going to get thrown for a loop anyway, but it's going to have a wonderful effect on you. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, just like Aries, 4 of the 5 eclipses this year will be all challenging your sun sign. They'll be squaring your sun sign. And so all of us have to look forward to setbacks and delays this year. They're going to happen. The reason they're going to happen is because the slow planets, the 3 of them, Uranus in Taurus and Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, are beautifully trining each other for the first time in our lives, but they're moving slowly. They're not fast movers. And so anybody who wants to move fast is sort of going to get a little bit ahead of themselves. But luckily for you, Libra, 4 of the 5 eclipses are squaring your sun, which means you too will have to prepare for setbacks and delays that can be very frustrating. But you need to think of them as building blocks, Libra. And the reason why is that, first of all, the challenges that you face this year are not going to hurt you. Okay, just remember that. They are building blocks. That means that the challenge comes at you and you've got to sort of climb over it. And then there'll be another one and you'll climb over that. That's all right, because these building block challenges that you'll have to face this year are going to be things that the problems that you solve, problems that you get out of the way. And you're going to be real happy that you do it this year, Libra, because by the middle of 2020, when Saturn is firmly established in Aquarius, it will be trining your sun for the next 2.5 to 3 years, starting in 2020. And you're going to be very thankful that you have faced challenges early on, these building block challenges this year, because you'll have all that out of the way by the time Saturn starts trining your sun, which is going to give you enormous support, more support than you can imagine right now. So look forward to those building blocks and don't complain about them. Just move head on and get over them if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this year your rulers are at war. In fact, they're at war right now, and your sign rules war, Scorpio. Uh-oh. The reason they're at war is because today even Mars, which is one of your rulers and rules 2 signs, it rules your sign and it rules Aries. And Mars is now in Aries. It's left Pisces. And it is in Aries along with Uranus. And Mars rules war, aggression, jealousy, hate, greed, you know, not the good things in life. And it is joining Uranus, which is a planet of sudden surprising change, volatility, rebellion, and freedom. And those two planets are called malefic planets because they can get you in trouble. And Mars is very strong because it's in one of the signs it rules. But it's squaring Saturn, which is in Capricorn and rules that sign and is another malefic planet. And it's squaring Pluto, your other ruler, also in Capricorn. So right now, Mars and Pluto are squaring each other, your rulers, but also the three malefic planets in the heavens, Uranus, Mars, and Saturn, are also squaring each other. This is not good news. It means somebody is pretty mad and may do something about it. And so there is the possibility, Scorpio, that you could be under attack. And the reason is that you may be wanting to start something, maybe now or this spring, and as you are involved in a new beginning, it does not look promising. And that could be why you're under attack. So you have to be aware of that. And then also, for the next 7 years, you are going to have to be very careful with your finances because they will fluctuate. And the reason why they'll fluctuate is because Uranus is in Taurus and it is opposing your sun sign. And remember, it's by March it will be. And then for the next 7 years. And it is a planet of sudden surprising change. So why will your finances fluctuate? It could be that your investments sort of go up and down, okay? So they could gain value or they could lose value. It could be that the cost of living keeps going up and that could get pricey. Or it could be taxes go up or the cost of credit. And it can be that your income can go down a little bit from time to time. And so it's very important, Scorpio, for you not to believe anything about people who say the check is in the mail. In other words, don't count any money until it's really in your hands, Scorpio, for the next 7 years, and don't take any gambles with money because you'd be somewhat aspected to lose. So you have to be really careful about that. However, it's not all doom and gloom because this fabulous solar eclipse that occurs on July 2nd in Cancer will be trining your sun, and Neptune in Pisces will also be trining your sun. So I think this summer is when things can sort of smooth out a little bit for you, but that does not dispel the financial fluctuations that you can be facing for the next 7 years. And so you just need to be very, very careful with the money if you can. And particularly cautious this spring because you could be under attack since your leader, your rulers are very forcefully squaring each other. And that can mean danger for you. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, lucky you. Jupiter is in your sign. It is your ruler, and it is the first time in 12 years that it has been in your sign. And so it can really bring out the best in you. So you are one person that could be saving the best for last, but it may not, you may not have to save it that long because all year long you're going to be faced with opportunities for expansion. And it could be that you get married this year. It could be that you form a very good partnership. I think for sure you're going to be doing more traveling than you have anticipated for one reason or another, and all of that could work out quite well. Or you could be deciding that you want to learn more, or you want to build something based on your high values or your philosophy or your religion. And all of that is possible this year, which is good. You have to be careful though, because yours is a fire sign and it's got Jupiter there, not to move too quickly. Because if you move too quickly, you could, and you're very hasty, it could create costly mistakes and you would have to pay for them. And so, you know, try to temper your enthusiasm a little bit or be a little bit more cautious because your career choices will present challenges this year. Saturn and Pluto are right ahead of your sun sign. And so, and in Capricorn, and Capricorn rules the 10th house of career, everybody's career, and public reputation. And so those career challenges can be something that you'll have to face, and you too will have to endure frustrating delays and setbacks. But that's not really going to stop the expansion in your life. Lucky you. It's going to be a very good year for you, Sagittarius, as long as you don't trip yourself up. And then at sometime this year, Sagittarius, the hammer comes down on someone who wants to lead a double life. Maybe they've already been doing that, or who wants to have things both ways. I sure hope that's not you, Sagittarius, but it's going to come down on somebody this year, and it's going to be final. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is your year. I mean, there's 3 eclipses in your sign. Isn't that extraordinary? Another wonderful, unusual thing is that Saturn, your own ruler, is in your sign along with Pluto, and starting in February, they begin to start a conjunction. A conjunction occurs when 2 planets in their own orbits line up. Okay, they're in degrees, each of them moving at different speeds, but they finally get in degrees within their orbits that are 7 degrees or less of being exact, okay? And because Saturn and Pluto are both such slow-moving planets, they move into a conjunction, and they really don't move out of that all year long, even when they go retrograde in the summertime. And then they go back direct, but they stay conjuncting each other all year. Because the energy of planets that are in a conjunction is so tight, because they're in almost perfect alignment, it means that the power of each planet is heightened. So you are really in the driver's seat this year, Capricorn, and that's why this is a building year for you. So you really have to pay attention to all of your very good ideas this year. You're probably going to have so many of them that you really should write them down, because you may not be able to get to all of them right away. But if you go through setbacks and delays like we all do, it could really help you be more thorough and more exact. And certainly you are a person who's going to be saving your best for last, which means that you will make progress this year, because Uranus and Taurus is trining your sun the whole year, which has never happened in our lifetimes. And so you don't have to move fast, which you don't want to do anyway. You'd really rather be more thorough. And that means that by the time the last eclipse of the year occurs, which is in your sign the day after Christmas, you should be well prepared for a rock-solid success in 2020. So congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, a good building starts with a strong foundation. And this is the year when you need to build that strong foundation before the building goes up, Aquarius. And the reason why you need to concentrate on building a strong foundation is because a major planet will come into your sign next year in 2020. And you need to be prepared for that. And that's what you need to do this year. So before you can put up your building or realize your fondest dream or high ideals, or really pursue a goal of yours, which could be very successful, you need to build that very strong foundation. It could be a foundation of trust. It could be a foundation that follows all the rules and regulations. So yes, you too will have to undergo frustrating delays and setbacks like the rest of us, but it's the foundation that you need to concentrate on this year, because Saturn doesn't come into a person's sun sign except once every 28 to 30 years. It's been a long time since it's been in your sign, Aquarius, but it's headed there next year, and you need to be ready for that. So this is a time when you need to make sure that you have got things well planned in advance, and also you need to get things really written down, particularly legal terms on things, and make sure that you're on solid ground as far as that goes. So that will be good for you, Aquarius. And then when Saturn enters your sign next year in 2020, you could be very well prepared for success. And it could be the kind of success that sets you up for the rest of your life. So it would really be worth the preparation that you make this year instead. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a year when I think that you are going to have second thoughts. What could they be about? Well, your second thoughts, particularly sometime around your birthday, could concern a plan that you have been very fond of, something that perhaps you had been planning on building. And the reason why you could have second thoughts, Pisces, is because you could be looking a little more closely at that plan and seeing the flaws in it. And it might be good that you have second thoughts this year, because another thing can be happening as well. And it is that your lifestyle this year, Pisces, can be exposed to legal scrutiny. And that means the law, one way or the other. And so you would want to be extra cautious this year, because I think there is going to be some sort of legal scrutiny of something that you've been doing. So to have second thoughts around your birthday, maybe that it could be a good thing. It might save you a little problem. And then on the solar eclipse that occurs on July 2nd in Cancer, which trines your sun and trines Neptune in your sun sign, then I think things can smooth out a little bit for you, but you still need to be very cautious all year long, if you can be. More cautious than you ordinarily are, because these slow-moving planets represent slow progress. And despite setbacks and delays, there are people that can really make it successfully by the end of the year, and you too can be saving the best for last. But you need to clear up some confusion about what the best represents to you, Pisces. And that's what you might have second thoughts about. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see our show, read our blog, and hear our podcast on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.